So I'm told that some of you are having troubles with 9, and although it's a little simpler than 10, I would think that possibly the problem is in the negatives. So we're just going to go through B and C on that one, and yeah, we'll get to it. So I want to get rid of the radical on the bottom. This is a simple radical, it's just root 6. There's root 5. Root 8, though, remember that one was a problem because it's not in its simplest terms. So before I go any further, I'm going to simplify that. I'm just going to look at the factors of 8. And if it's 4 times 2, I know that the square root of 4 is 2, so I'm going to take a 2 out of the brackets, and I'm going to rewrite this equation as 5 times 2 is 10. Root 2 got left behind, minus 2 root 5 over root 6. So you have to do that before you start, otherwise the numbers are going to start getting ugly and you'll end up with a problem. So I'm back to the root 6 on the bottom. I'm just going to multiply by root 6 because I know that root 6 times root 6 is just going to give me 6, and that gets rid of the radical on the bottom. And I have to multiply by root 6 on the top because this is equal to 1, and therefore it doesn't change the value of the fraction overall. So I'm going to need to multiply 10 root 2 by root 6. There's a 10 on the outside of the brackets, or the radical, so it stays there. And 2 times 6 gives me 12. Then I'm going to multiply negative 2 root 5 by root 6. So I'm going to have a negative sign there. There's only a 2 on the outside, but this becomes root 30. So my top is sort of finished now, but those are big numbers, so we're going to review that in a minute. And then I know that root 6 times root 6 on the bottom is just 6. So that part's easy enough. Now I want to revisit what's under the root signs and ask myself if there's something that can be taken out now. 12. So I know that 12 has the factors 4 and 3. Square root of 4 is 2, so there needs to be a 2 come out of here, and the 3 stays behind. So now it's going to look like 20 root 3 minus 2 root 30, and I can look at 30 and try to figure out the factors of 30, 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 5 and 6. There aren't any that have a perfect square. Even though it's a big number, it's just going to stay where it is. And of course, that's all over 6. Now the final step here is that I've got a 20, a 2, and a 6. Those can all be reduced by 2. So I'm going to take a 2 out. I'm going to have 10 root 3 minus root 30 all over 3 because I factored a 2 out of the entire thing. So that should give us the final result for that question. And it matches. Yay! We're going to move on to the next one. So again, we look at the size of some of the numbers under the radical and we go, uh-oh, that one's got a factor that's a perfect square. So 12 again. So once again, I've got 12, which is 4 and 3, so the 3 is going to stay under. Square root of 4 is 2, so the 2 is going to be multiplied by the negative 3. So I'm going to end up with my modified question is negative 6 root 3 plus 2 root 3. Oh, look, they're both root 3's. So I can actually simplify that right now and go negative 6 root 3 plus 2 root 3 is going to give me negative 4 root 3. So my whole top of my equation now is negative 4 root 3. I look at the root 18, and I know that the factors of 18 are 9 and 2. 9 has a perfect square root of 3, so that's going to go over here, and the 2 is going to be left behind. So I'm going to have 3 root 2 on the bottom. So now that I have my very simplified equation here, now I can move on and multiply it by the thing that's going to get rid of the radical. Now I don't care about this 3. It's a whole number. I don't have to use it. But what I do have to do is multiply by the root 2. So I'm going to go times root 2 over root 2. And because I've already simplified this one, I don't even have to worry about multiplying it by more than one thing. It's just this term times this term. So I'm going to have negative 4 root 6 over 3 root 2 times root 2. These guys become 2. So this is just going to be 3 times 2 gives me 6. Final step though, it looks simple, but it's not quite done because I've got a 4 here and a 6 here. They both have a factor of 2, so I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to have negative 2 root 6 over 3. Now that's done. That's as simple as it can be. If you look at D, it's going to be similar to these ones, and you're going to need to remember that you want to look for a reduction at the very last step. I'll leave that one to you.